Hello, sir. Sir, you have worked with PARC since the very beginning and have consistently been actively involved with it. Tell us about your motivation.
Let's be very clear. The motivation for anything that anyone does is selfish. It's always selfish, and it's selfish to the level that if you don't enjoy doing something, if you don't get gratification out of it, you don't do it. Now, it's fortunate that what you enjoy doing also helps other people. If that combination can be met, that's utopia. And so really my motivation is to feel good about myself. And the way I feel good about myself is trying to give back in whatever way I can. So that is the motivation. So it's ultimately selfish. But in the process, there are other people that get helped. And that's just wonderful. So that's really it.
Sir, I'm sure you heard of Team Atmanirbhar, the new student team that will be working with PARC and taking up different initiatives. What do you think of this? And how do you see this team supplementing PARC in its operations?
So, student involvement in PARC is really critical at this stage in my mind, because the rest of us, we're going to go one day, right? Mere mortals. What is immortal is the institution. What is immortal, or what will continue forever, is students will keep coming in, students will keep graduating. That whole pipeline will continue forever. And if we set up a student team that will pass the baton on to every new batch that comes in and motivate them towards PARC, that is one very essential way to ensure the longevity of this initiative. So it's absolutely critical. That's one way to institutionalize the initiative, and a very key part of it.
Would you like to convey anything to them?
Yes, I would. Couple of things. I think I mentioned this yesterday also somewhere. Just keep things in perspective, right? You joined BITS Pilani to become an engineer or become an economist, whatever, right? That is your primary goal. The involvement with PARC is something that you do on the side. Don't let it interfere with your mainstream objective, which is to get a degree, make a career, so that at some stage you have the free time like I have to give it back in a big way. So keep that perspective, number one. Number two, be a bit realistic about the projects that you take on. Realistic in the sense, again, kind of subject to the first point I was making. You cannot devote 100% of your time to this, which is okay. We are not expecting you to devote 100% of the time to this. So don't take on projects that will require 120% of your time. That's not feasible. It's just fooling yourself, and ultimately lead to frustration, because those projects will not come into fruition and you'll be like, hey, why did I spend all this time? So, bite off only what you can chew, and slowly those projects can get bigger. But right in the beginning, going for the big bang, let's be wary. I think that's all.
Sir, what vision do you have for the team Atmanirbhar and PARC as a whole in the next 5-10 years?
See, we have come to a stage where PARC really has a life of its own now. We have struggled through the initial formation, made lots of mistakes, learned from them. It's at a stage right now, it's in steady mode, correct? But still, it has not reached a stage that I can term it honestly as an institution. I really, next 5-10 years, the goal that I have in mind is to turn it into an institution. And what does that mean? That means there are clear succession plans, there are clear processes, there are clear guidelines for fundraising, for volunteering, and all that stuff is formalized to some extent, so that it doesn't rely on an individual. The minute an organization is dependent upon an individual or a particular personality, is short-lived. That is the thing that we need to surmount, and that's what we're all working towards, and that's what I hope all of you will be working towards. The student team for Atmanirbhar also falls into the same category, right? Let's get away from personalities, let's get away from individuals, let's make it into a team. Let's make it into a team that will continue to be there forever. Passing the baton on from one to the other, to the other, to the other. So that is really the big goal today. There are of course all these projects that we want to do, this manufacturing, this self-help group, all those are projects. But the vision is to make sure that these projects can continue after we are gone, right? Really. So that's really the big thing today.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.